Hello, everybody. This is Ashley Blackford, joined with
Scott Thompson.
How you doing, Scott?
Did I do my job?
You did. You're good. You're done for the day.
I'm done. Right. Awesome. See you later.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm
No.
doing great. How are you doing, Ashley?
I'm doing well. Exciting show today. We've got Jennifer Hedrick with Women in Trucking coming up. The annual Accelerate conference is right around the corner.
Yeah, you've been before.
I have been. It is such a fun conference. Lots to learn. And the most fun I had was connecting with people and
and
made
that's
a lot
what
of
it's
friends.
about, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and learned a lot that way. We are going to chat with her. Also curious, how people get into the industry, and so we'll definitely ask her about that. So here is Jennifer Hedrick, President and CEO of Women in Trucking. The annual Accelerate conference is right around the corner, and I want to talk about that. But before we get into that, Jennifer, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your background, how you got into the industry. I know you joined Women in Trucking, I think, in 2023, but I'm curious, before that, what was the road that got you there?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yes, I've been with Women in Trucking since 2023, so almost 3 full years now, which feels really hard to believe. It's been super fun and just absolutely terrific organization to work with and industry to be in, and I feel so privileged to be part of it. I've been in the association space for my career. I live in the DC area, Washington, DC area, so doing a lot of nonprofit work over my career and mostly with trade associations. I've worked with a number of different trade associations, including National Industrial Transportation League. They're a shipper group led by Nancy O'Litty now, and they focus on rail, ocean, and trucking issues. And so I was their executive director for 6.5 years, and really loved it, and then went on to do a couple other things after that. And when this job came up with Women in Trucking, I thought, wow, it would be a privilege not only to work here and continue the work that Ellen Boya had started, but also to jump back into trucking and transportation. So that's a little bit about my journey here.
Nice, yeah. And you had big shoes to fill with Ellen, right?
Yes. I have a board in my office that I check the box every time, make a check mark every time someone says that, and we're up to, I don't know the number now, but it's a lot.
Yes.
So, yes, absolutely, for sure. And Ellen has been, a tireless advocate for women in trucking over many, many years, and she's still. We have Women in Trucking has a radio show on Sirius, and Ellen still hosts that. So we're happy to have her engaged with us.
It sounds like with your background, you had kind of some relationship with trucking before this particular position. I think you mentioned kind of shipping there, but was this kind of a natural transition into what you're doing now? Did anything surprise you or, maybe kind of take you aback when you first got in this position?
That's a great question. I don't know if I was surprised by anything in particular. The association space is, I've absolutely loved it. And I've worked with a number of different industries over the years. And I think one of the things that I've really valued, and maybe this surprised me perhaps more than anything, I will say that, but I really value the passion that people have, particularly women in the trucking profession, and the desire to bring more women into trucking careers, whether that is, in driver roles, technician roles, accounting, running a company, dispatch. Everyone seems to have that same passion for this industry and this profession, and that was, I really. I don't want to say it was a surprise, but a joy, I think, to hear and feel, and that continues, every day. And I think it motivates us, our team, to do the work that we're doing each and every day.
That's great.
I'm curious, when you were younger and growing up, was leading a nonprofit that empowers women in the trucking industry, was that on the list, or?
It was not. It was not on the list. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I do go back to this time to time. My grandfather worked for Pepsi when I was growing up, and had honestly, you're a kid and you're trying to think about what you want to do, and I'm just trying to hang out, like, and spend time with my family and all of that sort of thing. And I didn't think about trucking, and I didn't think about necessarily, what he was doing. He worked at the Pepsi plant in our local community, and was integral in activities at that plant. Which thinking about, I think about a lot now as I go back and reflect on my childhood. But I wanted to go to law school, and then I changed my plans, and I feel like the road that I've taken, I've been very proud of and very excited about, and really pleased and happy to be in the association space, and happy to be here right now with Women in Trucking Association.
There is a parallel, though, there, Jennifer, right? If you were thinking about maybe becoming a lawyer and advocating and fighting for people, you're doing that now.
We are, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I love what I do. And I'm, as I said, I mean, I've been in the nonprofit space for a while, and really love working in with associations and focusing on the work that we do, particularly here at Women in Trucking Association.
Yeah.
Something on your LinkedIn profile that stood out to me in your About Me section, you describe yourself as an introvert. And I was curious, what advice would you have for, women in the industry and not, who are also introverts?
It's a great question. I think one thing that I would say is, introverts are often overlooked as leaders. And I think folks often say, well, if you're an introvert, you can't be a compassionate leader. You can't be a vocal leader. You can't contribute in a way maybe that people who are more comfortable speaking or engaging. And that really, to me, is a myth. To me, being an introvert is where you get your energy. And for me, it's more quiet, and I'm a listener, and I like to have the time to myself to think about things. And that's really, I think, has helped me over the years be advanced in my career and really have an understanding of opportunities and to be effective in a role. So I would say, for folks who are maybe not comfortable being outward or, necessarily talking in front of audiences, those kinds of things, that's okay. But it doesn't mean you can't do the job. It simply means you have to find a way that works for you, and to get that energy that you need for yourself, and take that and apply it in whatever ways that you need to get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a fellow introvert, I
Yeah.
I understand. Ash, are you
I
would you
would
consider
say,
yourself
I
an
think
introvert?
my husband's described me as a professional extrovert, a personal introvert. And I think
Yes.
that's very accurate.
Yeah.
Yes. I resonate with that a little
Yeah.
bit as well. Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, you're gonna have to be extroverted in a couple weeks,
Yeah.
right, at the conference.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love our conference. I tell this story to a lot of people. When I applied for this job, they had interviews at the Accelerate conference. And so I felt very fortunate to come to Dallas and meet with the interviewing team. And then I had an opportunity to walk around the conference and really see firsthand what Women in Trucking was all about. And what a terrific selling point. When I interviewed and then had the opportunity to experience the conference. And so I really felt like, wow, this is somewhere that I'd really like to be. And I feel like I could make an impact here. And it was just absolutely the energy and, certainly the issues and the women who were all there excited and ready to learn and and be with each other and learn and teach each other was truly a selling point for me. And so I look forward to Accelerate each and every year. So this will be my fourth Accelerate coming up in just a few weeks.
So that would have been in 2022?
2022.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That was the Accelerate I attended as well.
Oh, awesome. Great.
And yeah,
Good.
it was, kind of try to describe for those who haven't been there, what it's like. I agree with you. Like that was the first, I think, trucking conference I'd ever been to. And yeah, what an introduction to the world of trucking.
Right. Yes. And we've had our conference started. We celebrated our 10th year last year. We're celebrating 11 years this year, and we started with 300 people, and now we've got, this year we're expecting 1,200 people, and super excited about that. It's just grown in many, many ways. But we have a truck and trailer show, which we love. We have companies that bring trucks and trailers that folks can explore throughout the course of the 3 days. And our conference, just to note, is November 9th through 12th. In Dallas at the Hilton Anatole. We're still registering folks. If people want to go to our website, womenintrucking.org, there's opportunity there to learn more about it and sign up. But back to our truck and trailer show, really a significant part of the conference. We have a trade show with well over 150 booths from a variety of different vendors. HR, those who are focusing on HR, recruitment. We've got some terrific nonprofit organizations, carriers within the industry, just a range of truck manufacturers, just a range of folks who have booths at the conference and opportunity to chat with those businesses. And then we have education, 6 tracks throughout the conference, and over 180 speakers who participate. Really proud of our educational schedule, and that targets whatever career you may be in trucking, which I absolutely love. So if you're just graduating from college and trying to figure out, hey, I've just gotten this entry level job with a company in the trucking profession, you can learn a little bit more about what the broader industry looks like. If you are a senior professional in the C-suite, we have education for you as well and other professionals at that level at the conference. If you're a driver, if you're a technician, it really runs the gamut of the education that we have available. And so really want to call that out because I often get asked, are you're an organization for truck drivers? And yes, we are, but it's beyond that. We really cater our conference to those who are at various stages of their careers, as I said, and at various professions. Our attendees are primarily women, but we would not thrive at this conference or at Women in Trucking without our male allies. And so 10% of our attendees are men who are there supporting their colleagues or who are there on their own, trying to understand more about opportunities for hiring women in different roles in trucking.
Can I ask you, and it sounds like you got a little bit of something for everybody there, as you mentioned, drivers and people who are already in the industry and people who may be interested in entering the industry. For those folks, when they come, what does that look like for them? I would imagine a lot of it is information gathering and trying to figure out what place they might be able to find in the industry. But can you talk a little bit about what that pitch looks like for people who do have an interest? Obviously, they wouldn't be there if they didn't. But what does that look like? Who are the people that are coming to you and kind of looking for guidance and maybe getting into the industry?
Well, and it's hard to target really one population.
Sure. Yeah.
As I said, we have attendees who are just starting their career, and or who might be in a career in some other field who may not be satisfied with what they're doing, and so they are looking at trucking as a possibility. Others within trucking who are looking to branch out into a different role. So it really runs the gamut. We have a lot of different activities for folks who attend. We've got networking sessions. We have lunches that target. We have lunch tables that where you can come to our lunch on any day as part of the conference and sit at a table targeted to a specific topic. So you might want to learn about what it's like to be a driver, what it's like to be a technician, or what policy issues are affecting trucking that may have an impact on you and your job, or what your job interests. So we offer that opportunity. And then we really encourage folks to network as much as possible. We do speed networking. We elevate our mentorship program at the conference so folks can have opportunities to gather and meet with each other, meet with potential mentors, and build their connection group. So as they're thinking about different careers, or as they're thinking about their road in trucking, they have resources available to them.
Yeah, for sure. One of the, you mentioned, the education side of it. I know OOIDA will have some representation there.
Yes.
Norita Taylor is a panelist there.
She is, yes. She is on a panel that I'm super excited about that's focusing on regulatory and legislative activity, mainly at the federal level. And as we all know, at this point in time, it's been a really interesting year. We've got a government shutdown right now. We have a new head of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, Derek Bars, which is super exciting. And we have tariffs, and we have executive orders that have affected, nearly all of our companies, and of course the trucking industry at large. And so, super excited about that. Norita will be part of a panel that will be led by Tom Jensen, who handles government affairs for us at Women in Trucking Association. There will be others there from Transportation Intermediaries Association, Sue Lawless, who was once the acting administrator at FMCSA and now with Coppolitas Law Firm, and a few other, and Ranky, who is with IANA now. Really just a super group of panelists. I'm missing a couple, but a super group of panelists to talk through some of these issues that are incredibly timely right now for not only the industry but the country at large.
Yeah, and those are issues obviously that are affecting everyone, not just women. Can I ask you about that specifically? Because as an outsider, kind of looking in at everything that's going on, I do feel like there's been progress in kind of leveling the playing field for women over recent years. I don't think we are there yet by any means as to where we need to be, but is that a safe kind of assessment or a accurate assessment of where we are? And if not, what else would you like to see done, I suppose, to continue making the progress that we have been seeing over recent years?
I think it is. I think it's an accurate assessment, and there's always work to be done, and it's why we exist. And frankly, we're seeing strides for women and more women in various jobs, which is exciting. Increases in the number of female truck drivers, those in the C-suite. Those who have supervisory roles within their companies that may not be in the C-suite, but in other areas. Also we're we're seeing more women getting into other roles that have often been held by men, such as, technicians and that kind of thing. And that particular field is growing at a smaller increment. The number of women, I should say, who are taking those jobs and who are in those jobs, but it's progress, and we're excited about it. And we encourage other organizations to understand more about hiring females and how to recruit females, and that's a big part of our mission. But it is progress, but needed, much more needed still.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I think I have an answer, but I'm curious what you would say to this in terms of making that progress and getting more women into these positions and more women into the profession. Why is that important? And again, it is, and I know that it is, and I think I have my theories, but I'm curious what you would say to that in terms, again, of why it is important to get more women in the industry.
A lot of companies don't look at women to fill some of these roles. And so in our view, that's an error on their part. And so what we'd like to do is talk about that and encourage companies to think about that. Companies, I've shared the story a lot, but in my first few months at Women in Trucking Association, I had a man approach me after I had spoken at a conference, and he said, we're in this rural area in the U.S., and I've got 30 employees, and I have no women, and I wouldn't know how to hire a woman. And so to me, I was struck by that in many ways. But what that said to me is, okay, well, what are the resources that you need to bring a woman into your culture, into your company, and make that work? So that's kind of one piece of that. The other piece of that is that there are many stereotypes about jobs that still exist, and we work to eliminate those stereotypes. There, as I said, there are technician jobs that are open, and that's really an area that's been hard for a number of companies to hire folks, men or women. And so we've been encouraging companies to look at women for these roles, and encouraging women to be educated in the way that they need, trained in the way that they need to achieve those roles. So, a lot there, but there are opportunities. And a lot of it is encouraging people to think a little bit more broadly than what they have, and looking at different populations that could be available to them to help their businesses thrive.
Yeah.
We've talked about, empowering and empowerment. Talk to me about, with this conference, that's, I know, one thing that I felt like I walked away with. How empowering is it for women, to come together and, just through education and networking?
I think it's incredibly empowering. And like I said to you, when I was in the environment, simply there, looking in that interview process, there were, you could see the conversations and listen to the speakers, and it's just an incredibly engaging environment. And I still struggle a little bit with how to articulate what that is like. I've met women at the conference. I was fortunate to have a lunch with a group of women last year. A couple of them had been asking their employers for a number of years if they could attend, and they had said, no, I don't really see the value of you going to a conference with a bunch of women, and that's really how it was valued within their company. And so she was able to build the case for the conference, and she was there and was ecstatic to be there and to meet women in her her same career, women who are struggling in that same kind of lane of they don't have supervisory support to attend, or they don't think that conferences like these are valuable. They may think of them as recruiting fairs, which they're certainly not. But it's really an opportunity for women to get together and understand each other and understand how they can elevate trucking and grow within the profession and grow together. And it's really a powerful thing to see. And it's why I encourage people to attend. It is very hard to articulate. And I think I think as you've said, it's empowering, but it is hard to really kind of share that until you've been there.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of have a small world story from when I did attend in 2022. I think I'd been in the industry less than a year, but getting into the industry, I thought trucking was, it feels like a huge kind of world. And when I was at the conference, I was walking through, and I grew up in a very, very small rural New Brunswick town in Canada. And I ran into two people. One I went to high school with, and one that I lived near, who worked for a trucking company.
They were following you.
They were following me.
Did you think about that possibility?
So we were like shocked. Like, it was very cool. And so it just, it really is actually a small world, a big industry, but a small world for sure.
Oh, terrific. Oh, I love that story. Yeah. I love it.
For any of our listeners who want more information to sign up, where can they go for that?
Yeah, so womenintrucking.org, and we've got everything lined up there in terms of agenda and registration, hotel, all of that. We're at the Hilton Anatole, and again, November 9th through 12th in Dallas.
All right.
There
awesome.
it is.
Wonderful.
Looking forward to hearing all about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Oh, same. And thank you both for having me today.
Thanks for listening. Today's episode of Trucking with OOIDA was brought to you by a dedicated team of people. That includes Jim Fetzer, Tennille Flick, and Kim Boren.
You can listen to new episodes and extended interviews on your favorite podcast platform and on the OOIDA YouTube page. Please subscribe while you're there. If you've got thoughts, we'd love to hear them. Call us at 1-800-324-6856 and leave a message, or send us an email to podcast@ooida.com, and we might include it on the show.